Welcome to Soul Sync.
Hello
Hello.
and welcome to Soul Sync.
You're spiritual bitches, baby.
Fuck yeah. Oh my gosh. Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday as we record this.
We got some goodies for you today.
Oh, yeah. We are talking all about morals today.
Mhm.
Last week, I feel like we touched a lot on how do you support each other through a really hard time, right? When somebody is just devastated, they're like on the bathroom floor, fucking crying type shit. You just need to support them. You just need to be there for them, hug them, listen to them, and honestly, just be a little bit of a support system any way that you can. But this week, we want to kind of touch on how to support your loved ones when you might not understand their pain or you might not even agree with their choices.
It could be like a coworker situation, a relationship with like a loved one, or like a best friend or something like that. And, we could be listening to what they're going through, or maybe just like being that bystander and like observing what's going on in their life. And we want to interject and we want to jump in and maybe like control the situation or try and help them like instantly, or like, I don't know. We kind of have to like sit back for a minute and think about what our role is during that time. Because I feel like that is super important. And it's something maybe people don't really take into consideration, like how you can be there for someone, but like accelerated. You know what I mean? Like if you don't need my opinion, you just want to vent, and then I just hop in and I'm giving you all of my thoughts and I'm saying you should do this, you should do that, you should do that. It could like escalate the situation or just not help anyone at the end of the day. So it's really like reading the room, knowing your person in that relationship and knowing what their communication style is, what they need during that time, and just being super like aware of what is needed from you in that current moment.
I completely agree. Taylor has told me this quote, not my circus and not my monkeys. And I have lived by it since she's told me that because honestly, I used to be that person that wanted to control the situations, like when my friends would come to me and they were telling me about their toxic boyfriend that was like doing all of these things, I would want to interject and be like, oh my God, girl, why are you putting up with that shit? But it's not my journey. And at the end of the day, we never know what's going behind closed doors, right? So maybe they have an amazing relationship and they're really only telling me the bad. So that's what I see. I don't see when he buys her flowers. I don't see when he kisses her goodbye in the morning saying, I love you. I don't see those little things that, let's be honest, truly fucking matter in a relationship. So that was something I learned very early on. And it has been the biggest change in my relationships because I kind of started implementing this during a phase where I met Taylor. And I call this like my death period because I had just started my fitness journey. I lost all of my friends. All of a sudden, I was spiritual. I was thinking so positive. So my life took a 180 and I lost a lot of people, but I gained a lot of people. And I noticed within the people I had lost, I was trying to control, I was implementing my opinion. And that was my biggest pet peeve. I fucking hate when people come in and try to tell me how to run my life, like it irks my soul because I always had to deal with it growing up and then I never felt like I had a voice. So now I will immediately be like, "Oh, you know what? Thank you so much, but I actually wasn't looking for some advice right now. I just wanted to vent." And that's why I started implementing this statement I'm about to tell you guys. And it's when somebody is coming at you with some heavy shit and they need support, I want you to ask them, what do you need from me right now? Do you want to vent? Or do you want my opinion at the end of this? Because then they get the choice. And that's what I always wanted when I was so pissed off that like so and so was telling me what to do when I was buying my cards. Like, well, I didn't really ask, I want to make this choice myself. So I definitely, ooh, that shit is just gonna help you guys so much.
He's like, oh, that shit just gets to me.
Guys, I'm like fired up over here.
No, girl, honestly, like it's such a valid question for everyone. Like I feel like everyone could benefit from being asked that because it's so true. It's like you kinda give them that space and that freedom of being like, "Okay, well, I'm here for you, but let me know what you want from me. Like, how can I be here for you so that you're comfortable and I'm giving you exactly, like, what you need during this time?" So, like, I loved that, and me and Sammy, like, did have a conversation where she told me that that, like, irks her and whatever, and I was, like, standing there like, "Yo, I don't do that. Like, I never do that for people, and I'm wondering, like, I'm like, "Do I just, like, give my opinion?" But that communication in itself, like, just switched the whole perspective for me for, like, being there for people and supporting them because it's so true. It's like everyone's different. Every situation, you kind of need a little different, like, way of working around it, like, tailor the situation to exactly, like, what that person needs. So it makes so much sense, and ever since she told me about that, I have been using it, and communication, like, has just taken off. It's like you're basically telling them, "I really want to help you, so what is the best way I can do that for you?" Because we're not gonna be out here assuming shit, right? Like, as much as you know your friends and you know your family and your boyfriend or whatever, it's like every situation's different and they really need just like a different type of version from you sometimes. So, oh my God, that's been a game changer for me too. And it's a way to just like grow your friendships and keep them intact and keep everyone on the same page, you know?
I swear, it just makes them so strong, you know? Like, when I think of the 5 closest people to me in my life, like, those relationships are so strong. Like, they are rock fucking solid, and the reason why is because I've worked so hard on my communication. Like, even with Taylor, I always tell her, I'm like, girl, you teach me how to communicate because I just never felt safe actually saying my thoughts or saying my feelings. I always kind of associated it with people leaving me or dismissing me. So it just taught me to shut the fuck up and play along, right? But when it comes to Taylor, I can say anything, I can be any way, and she's always gonna love and accept me 100% for it. And there's definitely been times where she's like called me out and been like, "Hey, Sammy, like, I noticed that like you reacted this way." Honestly, Taylor, I don't even remember. I know you did this to me, but I forget what it was about. But anyway, so she was like, "You kind of reacted this way. Like, I didn't really like seeing that from you. I would like it if you could work on this." And this was very early on in our friendship, but it really changed me in such a good way. And I was like, fuck yeah, I can easily make that change. And thank you so much for telling me. And it gave me the opportunity to respond to and not react because since I never felt like I had a voice, I was very reactive as a teenager. And I was just a bitch, let's be honest. Sammy was not nice. So that's why when people ask and they were like, oh, like, have you changed? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that bitch anymore.
Really don't. She was going through some shit.
Totally understandable, like, it was just our childhood self. But you're so true, sometimes just, like, that one comment or that one conversation can change things for them so much, like, who doesn't want that? Especially, like, to be more aware of what you're doing, and then you don't realize it, and maybe if it's not for your benefit, and to have that friend to be able to call you out on it, but to do it in such a loving, like, safe way where you're just kind of like, "Oh, I didn't realize I was doing that," or like, "I didn't realize that was affecting people," or like something like that can go such a long way. And it's like, we need to just find a way to do that that's gentle enough and that gets our point across, but also doesn't make them feel like they're being attacked in any way or that you're against them. So we could talk about like some great ways, maybe some questions we can ask, to like set some boundaries or even, just get our point across without anyone's feelings getting hurt.
Oh my gosh, I think I have the best examples. So, I actually had a conversation with one of my best friends recently, and she was triggered by a situation and she started venting. And I'm like, okay, I know this is just a space to vent. I'm going to be here and I'm going to listen. But I noticed as she was talking about the situation, she was really, really, really putting somebody down, calling them a whore, a thought, this bitch, all these just very like, not so nice things. And I personally used to do the same thing about myself and about others. So a couple years ago when I got spiritual, I made this shift where I was like, I only want to compliment women. And that's why my friends always laugh at me because I'm always complimenting someone. Like, I love your shoes. Oh my God, your hair is amazing. Because I wanted to switch that. I wanted to have an intention of like, I only give out love, even if you hurt me or even if you don't say thank you. I want to give out love. And that's the only energy I want to give out. So I don't agree with putting someone down no matter what they do. Your feelings can be completely valid, but you don't need to spend 5 minutes, like, completely cursing this person out, and it's just kinda like, I don't know, it rubbed me the wrong way. So, how I responded to this is I listened, and I supported, and I was like, "Yep, like, your feelings are valid," and I just let her air it all out, and that's the first step, okay? Like, let them respond, it's totally okay, and their feelings are fucking valid, like, everything she was saying was so valid, right? But the
Mm.
second thing I did was I gave it a day or 2. It came up in conversation, and then I just mentioned, I was like, "Is there any chance I can just be honest with you?" So that's number 2, right? Ask for permission to bring up a very serious conversation or to talk about something like this. And she goes, "Of course, absolutely." And I was like, "I just wanted to say it made my heart really sad when you responded this way on this day about this event." I was like, "I totally understand. I really want to validate your feelings. That situation was not cool, but you aren't the type of person that says these words and reacts in that kind of way. I haven't seen that side from you. How do you feel about this? And like, are you okay?" And it opened up an amazing conversation where she was like, "Yeah, you know what? Like, I was just so pissed off. I haven't been that mad in a while, but you're right. Like, I don't want to be talking about people that way because it's just not even worth my energy." And that's where I was really coming from because I was like, all the venting you're doing, like that 5 minutes of cursing this girl out, that's all negative energy. You're calling that into yourself too. And I felt it. I mean, I literally saged after this. I had to. Like I had to. And she told me to sage too. So I just feel like that was such an amazing example of how you can have such a healthy conversation, and it made our relationship so much stronger, and we both are like, "Oh my god, I can't wait to see you, like, I love you so much," and you're able to move on from that, but I felt so much better because at the same time, I set that boundary of like, "Hey, please don't talk about other women or anybody this way in front of me. You can say a couple of things about them, but please don't take it to that extent because it brings my energy down and it, like, makes me sad."
I totally, totally understand that. Oh, and that was a really important conversation to be had.
Mhm.
And even to just give her that perspective shift too of like maybe like she needs to look inward. Maybe that's like there are other things that aren't serving her that she does or that she says too. And like that could be a whole game changer for them. So I totally get that. And like I would want someone to call me out for something like that too, so that I can really go inward and be like, well, what the fuck? Like, what is that doing for me to like speak like that? And you're so right. The energy of that and putting it out there, it comes back to you like always. So it's like you want to be super selective and you want to really like hear the words that you're choosing and that you're sending out into the world. And I get it, like the heat of the moment, you're super pissed off, like anything could happen. Someone can screw you over. And it's just like, you just unleash like what you're feeling and everything bottled up and like stuff like that. And we're human, like we all go through that. But during the midst of that, I feel like it is really important to be able to take a deep breath and like your morals come in here. Like even in the heat of the moment, I'm the type of person where like I wouldn't like, put down another person in that way either. But that's like what I learned through my upbringing also is like, I'm only going to send out love and light. And that's it. That's my boundary. That's what I'm like living for. And that's like my morals. So everyone's different. Everyone has different morals. Like some people will beat someone up if they piss them off. Like some people will shoot someone if they piss them off. Like everyone has their own standard of whatever. But what we're saying is,
Don't be violent. Shit.
yeah, no violence. And just being in the energy of pure love and acceptance and like giving out love to the world all the time. Like it's not easy to do all the time, but like when you set that moral with yourself and like It's life-changing, and it's kind of like just being in the vibration of peace and the vibration of, like, nothing can get to me, nothing can penetrate the, like, peace and the love that I live inside myself, and so it is, and then that's how it happens, and then you live such a, like, I don't know, it's all perspective based, but this is what works for me and Sammy, and we can tell you that it's a lot better to give love than it is to put people down.
I agree, and that's why I handled it the way that I did with the fact that, like, I waited and I allowed them to just do what
Mhm.
they needed to do and say what they needed to say because obviously it needed to come out, right? So I
Yeah.
wanted that safe space for that, especially for our relationship. But at the same time, when I did go and I had that conversation, I came at it with so much love. And I
Mhm.
also used I feel. So that's another key tip that can really help you is always come from an I perspective because you are the only thing you have control over and you're the only thing you know, especially when it comes to relationships with other people. So everything that they have to say is valid as well. But you never be like, you did this, you did this. Trust me, I have
Yeah.
done that before and it never ends well because, of course, they're going to feel defensive like, ooh, why are you attacking me all of the sudden, you know? So,
Mhm.
instead, use the I feel statement because that's what you have control over and that's what you want to change, right? You want to change how you feel so that no matter who you're with and who you're around, you always feel that love, especially from them to you too.
Yeah, and it's like your feelings are valid too. So, like, don't forget to speak up in that way too. And if they are your friend, they are like close to you and want to be in your life, like they'll respect your opinions as well. And they'll respect like that you're coming from a place of love in the first place. And they'll know you to know that you're not attacking them and you're not there to like put them down or anything like that. So all we want to do is love and support people at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like we're really just here to help. And I feel like when you bring in more of that energy as a friend or as a partner, you're really just setting up the relationship for success and to be just like the best version of that relationship that it can be. So, really, it's about taking a look at like who's in your inner circle, what type of energy they bring to you, and what their perspectives and morals are in like even situations like this. Like everyone's human. Like I cannot stress that enough. So this is very like, you know. But I did recently hear a quote that I absolutely fell in love with and it was like when certain things happen to us in life, we have three choices. Like when we get negative energy, we can either absorb it, we can reflect it. So we give the same negative energy back to that person, or we can transmute it. So it's transmuting the negative energy into a positive, loving energy and sending it back out into the universe. And I read that and I was like, yo, that's exactly what it is. Like, we have the choice for everything that happens in our lives. And like, sometimes it doesn't feel that way, but it's like, if someone's being a bitch to you, someone cut you off, in traffic, someone's whatever, it's really like, okay, now it's your turn. Like you're playing chess. Okay. Now it's your turn to make a move. What are you going to do about it? And just a quick example, which I absolutely loved that my boyfriend did the other day was one of our neighbors. He got into an argument with outside and it was very like bad situation. They were yelling at each other, like cursing at each other, like it was a whole bad like thing. And then I talked to him about it and I was like, listen, like you are giving up that power at the same time and you're escalating the situation. And it was something really small, it was about a parking spot. So it's like, in hindsight, kind of like take a step back. And it doesn't have to necessarily be in that moment. You can start after everything happens when you're reflecting on everything, like let it simmer, let the pot to stop boiling and just think and reflect. And he did exactly that. And I was so proud of him because literally the next day he went over to her house and he apologized and he was being the bigger person and he was saying like I'm so sorry like about what happened and like if we can figure out a solution and he was saying like it turns out that she has dementia and she had no idea that she even had this argument with him because her memory was going and she, people with dementia, they can act out and lash out on people. And she had no idea that that even took place. So he ended up coming from such a loving place to begin with, and he learned this about her, and he ended up being like, you know what, we're going to have so many barbecues during the summer, you're invited to all of them. Like, it would be so nice to like get to know you. If you need anything, like, I'm right next door. And he was going to buy her flowers and do a whole
Oh
thing,
my
but the day ended
god.
up getting away from him. But he just like took that situation and transmuted it completely and transformed the entire energy of like that neighbor, that house, that, direction of the street, and her, and like made her entire day. And like she was glowing after that. And she was just so happy. And it was like, you don't know what people are going through either. Like the poor woman has dementia. She had no idea she was even doing that. So I was just so fucking proud of him, like for this situation. And like, he felt like he was glowing too. He was like, I totally like, I get it. But he's just a good guy with really strong morals. So he does that type of stuff a lot. And it's just so beautiful to see and to learn from and like live alongside. So that's just another example, but it's really just like beautiful what we can do and what we can transform. Like, maybe you don't think we have that type of control over a situation. We do.
That is so fucking beautiful. And I think the number one thing that like we have control over there is not having any judgment, right? Because like you said, you never know what somebody else is going through. And even when you think a situation is a certain way or somebody's telling you about a thing, like you can't be in a position where you judge them because you don't know the whole story, you don't know all the facts. And just like this situation, they could be going through something that's actually truly affecting their entire life and you have no idea. So, oh, I'm so proud of him too. Those are like such green flags. Like, let's go. Let's go. A good example of a good man. See, they're out there. They're out there.
Yes. Oh my God. I snagged one of the best. Shout out Tyler.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so yeah.
Well, I feel like we touched on so many different things here. Is there any way you would like to like end this or leave our followers with? I feel like we touched so many good things. It's kind of like you guys are gonna have to listen to this one again and really digest and implement.
Totally, totally. No, I think we really did too. And it just piggybacks so perfect off the last one, and it's like what to do when, things go wrong or something like that. I really think just be that light, for people in your life, and you'll always get back the energy that you give out. And like, if those align with your morals, then totally run with it. Take what resonated here, leave what doesn't, as Sammy always says. It's so true. Like, if you want just a healthy relationship in your life, these are some things that you can start implementing. And we believe in it and we've seen it work firsthand. So we know. And girl, our friendship is glowing. So this is just like living, breathing proof for all the listeners too. Like, I don't know, if you want a relationship like this, if that's what you're looking for, like, maybe, yeah, listen to this one again.
Aw, stop it. I'm just so grateful. I always wanted a friend like you. I feel like I spent so much of my life just feeling alone, and that's why I didn't have a lot of these conversations because I just wasn't surrounding myself with people who were willing to or even were understood that a relationship could be this deep and this complex and this beautiful. So I'm just so grateful for you, girlfriend.
I'm grateful for you every day, every way. Well, this is a perfect way to kind of slip off of this.
Oh, yeah. We love all of you guys too. So make sure that you follow us at our Soul Sync SB Instagram account. We're on YouTube and Spotify. Taylor, where can they find you?
You can find me at Taylor Babel on Instagram. I am private, so I might have to just give you a little accept, but that's fine. I can do that. Where can they find you, Sammy?
You can find me on all the platforms, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Sammy Roos, Ruess, and there is an underscore for our Instagram account.
Don't forget that underscore, people.
Oh, makes a difference.
Makes all the difference.
Not really, there's literally only one Sammy Roos, so
So true.
I'm always the first one to pop up just by my name.
Hell yeah. There's only one option. Y'all don't have any others.
So make sure you tune in next week because, guys, this is our 20th episode. So we're so grateful to be doing this. It is just so much fun. And we're so grateful that you guys tag along.
Yeah. Oh my God. So until next time, people, we love you.
Peace out, Girl Scout.
Bye.
Bye.